Beyond the Stars, the inspiring journey of Sunita Williams. A dream takes flight. The story of Sunita Williams is not just a tale of space exploration. It is a testament to the power of dreams, determination, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. From her humble beginnings in Euclid, Ohio, to her groundbreaking missions aboard the International Space Station, Sunita's journey is a beacon of inspiration for anyone who dares to dream big. This video is a celebration of her life, her achievements, and the lessons she imparts to us all. It is a call to action, urging us to reach for the stars, both literally and figuratively. Chapter 1. A Buckeye State Beginning. Sunita Lynn Williams was born on September 19, 1965, in Euclid, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. The crisp autumn air seemed to foreshadow the extraordinary journey she was about to embark on. Her roots were a vibrant tapestry woven from different cultures. Her father, Dr. Deepak Pandya, a neuroanatomist, had emigrated from India, and her mother, Ursuline Bani Zalokar Pandya, was of Slovenian descent. This blend of Eastern and Western heritage instilled in her a deep appreciation for diversity and a sense of global citizenship, qualities that would prove invaluable in her future endeavors. Even as a little girl, Sunita was a whirlwind of energy and curiosity, constantly exploring her surroundings and asking why at every turn. Her childhood was filled with love, laughter, and the unwavering support of a family that encouraged her every dream. The family lived in a cozy home on a quiet street. The sounds of children laughing and playing filled the air, and Sunita, with her bright eyes and infectious smile, was always in the thick of it. Chapter 2. Splashing into passion, swimming in the sea. From an early age, Sunita displayed a remarkable affinity for water. Perhaps it was a subconscious connection to the vast oceans she would later soar above. She was a natural swimmer, slicing through the water with grace and power. The local community pool became her second home, the chlorine smell a comforting aroma. She joined a swim team early on, learning the discipline and teamwork that competitive sports instill. Every stroke, every turn was a lesson in dedication. But it wasn't just the structured environment of the pool that fascinated her. She loved exploring the shores of Lake Erie, mesmerized by the rhythm of the waves and the mysteries hidden beneath the surface. This early exposure to the power and beauty of water planted a seed within her, a seed that would blossom into a fascination with the vastness of the ocean and the challenges of navigating it. Her love for the sea would later translate into a love for the skies, which is a vast ocean above us. Chapter 3. Furry Friends and Scientific Sparks. Sunita's childhood wasn't just about swimming, it was also filled with animals. The Pandya household was a haven for creatures great and small. Dogs, cats, birds, hamsters. Each one was welcomed with open arms and treated as a member of the family. This love for animals instilled in her a deep sense of responsibility and empathy. She learned to care for their needs, to observe their behaviors, and to appreciate the unique personalities of each creature. This compassion extended beyond the animal kingdom. Her father, a respected neuroanatomist, played a critical role in igniting her scientific curiosity. He would often bring home fascinating tales from his research, explaining the intricate workings of the human brain in a way that captured her imagination. She loved to spend time with him in his study, poring over medical textbooks and marveling at the complexity of the human body. These early experiences laid the foundation for her future interest in science and technology, which would play a part in her journey to become an astronaut. Chapter 4. Norwood Junior High and Sharpening Focus. The family moved to Needham, Massachusetts when Sunita was in junior high. This marked a turning point in Sunita's life. The transition to a different school and community forced her to adapt and become more independent. But it also provided new opportunities and challenges that helped her to grow. Norwood Junior High provided a supportive learning environment where Sunita began to excel academically. She enjoyed science and math, but she also recognized the importance of a well-rounded education. Her teachers recognized her potential, encouraging her to participate in extracurricular activities and to pursue her interests with passion. This period of her life was about more than just academics, though. It was about discovering her strengths, learning to work with others, and developing the self-confidence that would be essential for her future success. Chapter 5. A Navy Dream Takes Flight. As Sunita entered Needham High School, a new ambition began to take shape: a career in the military. She was drawn to the discipline, the camaraderie, and the opportunity to serve her country. The United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, stood out as the premier institution for aspiring naval officers. She knew that getting accepted into the academy would be a challenge, but her determination burned brighter than ever. She excelled in her studies, pushed herself physically, and actively participated in leadership activities. Her love for swimming continued, and she became a valuable member of the high school swim team. But it was her unwavering focus and her genuine passion for service that truly set her apart. Throughout high school, the Naval Academy became her North Star, guiding her decisions and fueling her efforts. She knew that the path to space started with a commitment to excellence here on Earth. The dream was now clear, and Sunita was ready to take the first giant leap toward the stars. She was accepted to the U.S. Naval Academy. Chapter 6, Annapolis, Anchors Aweigh and Wings of Ambition. The crisp Maryland air bit at Sunita's cheeks as she stood, ramrod straight, among a sea of freshly minted midshipmen. The United States Naval Academy at Annapolis was a world away from Euclid, Ohio. Gone were the familiar comforts of home, replaced by the rigid structure, demanding discipline, and relentless academic rigor of this hallowed institution. Sunita thrived on it. The demanding schedule, the physical challenges, the intellectual pursuits, it all resonated with her. She found a sense of purpose, a clear direction that had been nascent but now blossomed into a determined drive. She excelled in her academics, focusing on physical science, a subject that fueled her curiosity about the world and its workings. But it was in physical activity that Sunita truly shone. She was a natural athlete, throwing herself into cross-country and swimming with the same unwavering determination she applied to her studies. Yet amidst the academic pressures and athletic competitions, a new spark ignited within her. Visiting astronauts speaking at the Academy captivated her. Hearing firsthand accounts of space, the weightlessness, the view of Earth from beyond the atmosphere, a dream began to take root. Becoming an astronaut seemed almost impossibly distant, yet the seed was planted. The Academy, with its commitment to excellence and pushing boundaries, provided the perfect environment for that seed to germinate. She knew then, with a growing conviction, that she wanted to fly higher than any helicopter ever could. Chapter 7. Chopper Pilot, Mastering the Skies. Graduation ceremonies were a blur of pride, accomplishment, and nervous anticipation. Sunita received her commission as an ensign in the United States Navy, and her next destination was Pensacola, Florida, the cradle of naval aviation. She had chosen to pursue helicopter flight training, a path that offered both challenge and opportunity. The world of helicopters was a symphony of whirring blades, complex mechanics, and demanding maneuvers. Sunita embraced the challenge with characteristic zeal. She devoured textbooks, spent hours in simulators, and pushed herself beyond her perceived limits in the cockpit. Mastering the controls of the H-46C Knight, a workhorse helicopter known for its versatility and demanding handling, became her focus. She quickly proved to be a natural pilot, possessing a rare combination of technical skill, spatial awareness, and calm under pressure. Her instructors recognized her potential, pushing her to hone her skills and prepare for the rigors of operational flight. Sunita excelled not just as a pilot, but as a leader, inspiring her fellow trainees with her dedication and positive attitude. She earned her wings, a proud moment that marked the culmination of years of hard work and the beginning of a new chapter. Chapter 8. Deployments, Putting Skills to the Test. Deployment aboard warships in the Atlantic and Mediterranean proved to be a crucible, forging Sunita into a seasoned naval officer and a skilled pilot. She flew countless missions, providing logistical support, search and rescue assistance, and participating in exercises with allied navies. The pressure was constant, the stakes were high, and the environment was often unforgiving. Flying in challenging weather conditions, navigating complex airspace, and managing the complexities of shipboard operations demanded precision, teamwork, and unwavering focus. Sunita thrived in this environment. She learned to trust her instincts, to rely on her training, and to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances. She developed an uncanny ability to remain calm and collected under pressure, a trait that would serve her well in the years to come. Each flight, each mission, each challenge faced at sea was a step towards honing her skills and building her confidence. The experience solidified her belief in her capabilities and further fueled her ambition to push her boundaries. Chapter 9. Test Pilot School, the Edge of the Envelope. The roar of jet engines filled the air at Naval Air Station Patuxent River, Maryland, the home of the U.S. Naval Test Pilot School. Entry into this prestigious institution was highly competitive, reserved for the best and brightest pilots in the Navy. Sunita, with her exceptional record and unwavering determination, was selected. Test Pilot School was a grueling academic and practical program designed to train pilots to evaluate and analyze the performance of aircraft, identify design flaws, and develop new tactics and procedures. Sunita was immersed in a world of aerodynamics, flight control systems, and advanced engineering. She flew a variety of aircraft, pushing them to their limits, meticulously recording data, and analyzing their performance. She learned to identify subtle nuances in flight characteristics, to troubleshoot complex technical issues, and to communicate her findings effectively. She thrived in this environment of intellectual rigor and practical application. This experience would prove invaluable, providing her with the technical knowledge and analytical skills necessary for a career in space exploration. Chapter 10. A Dream Takes Flight. Eyes on the Astronaut Corps. Standing on the tarmac at Patuxent River, the setting sun glinting off the metal of the aircraft around her, Sunita knew she had reached another pivotal moment. The challenges of Test Pilot School had pushed her to her limits, sharpening her skills and deepening her understanding of flight. But it had also ignited a new sense of purpose. The dream of becoming an astronaut, once a distant aspiration, now felt within reach. The skills she had honed, the technical expertise, the analytical abilities, the leadership qualities, and the unflappable demeanor seemed tailor-made for the demands of spaceflight. She began researching the astronaut selection process, studying the backgrounds and qualifications of successful applicants. She reached out to astronauts, seeking their advice and insights. With each conversation, with each step she took, her conviction grew stronger. She knew the road ahead would be long and arduous, but she was ready to dedicate herself to achieving her dream. She began working towards her master's degree in engineering management. The Earth was a beautiful place, but Sunita Williams was determined to see it from a different perspective, a perspective only a select few ever experience. Her eyes were now firmly fixed on the stars. Chapter 11. The Call to the Stars. The year is 1998. Sunita, now a seasoned Navy test pilot, was flying a simulated combat mission over the Nevada desert. The G-forces pressed against her, blurring her vision momentarily, but the thrill of pushing the limits coursed through her veins. As she banked sharply, a thought, long simmering in the back of her mind, surged to the forefront. This isn't enough. She'd excelled in everything she'd done, mastering the complexities of flight. But deep down, she yearned for something more, a challenge that truly encompassed the vastness of her potential. The recent launch of the International Space Station, reported constantly on the news, fueled the desire. Space, it called to her, a siren song of scientific discovery and the ultimate frontier. Back at base, rummaging through a stack of aviation magazines, she saw it, a small, almost unremarkable advertisement for NASA. Astronaut application, be part of the next generation. It was a sign. Sunita spent every spare moment meticulously crafting her application. She pored over the requirements, cross-referencing her qualifications. She highlighted her test pilot experience, her engineering degree, her leadership roles, and even her marathon running. She worked and reworked her essay, trying to capture the essence of her passion, her dedication, and her unwavering belief in the importance of space exploration. She knew the odds were astronomically against her, but she also knew she had to try. Finally, she submitted the application, a small slip of paper amidst thousands of others. All she could do now was wait. Chapter 12. sifting through the stars. Months passed, filled with routine flights and nagging doubts. Sunita tried to bury her hopes, focusing on her present duties. Then one ordinary Tuesday morning, the phone rang. "Sunita Williams," a voice boomed. "This is NASA, calling about your application for the astronaut program. We'd like to invite you for an interview." A wave of disbelief washed over her. She clutched the phone, barely able to speak. The interview was just the first step. She knew the selection process was grueling, a multi-stage gauntlet designed to weed out all but the most exceptional candidates. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Sunita traveled to Houston, to Johnson Space Center. She found herself surrounded by brilliant minds, engineers, doctors, scientists, and fighter pilots, all vying for the same dream. The interviews were intense, probing into her knowledge, her personality, and her ability to handle pressure. Psychologists analyzed her responses, searching for hidden flaws. Then came the physical tests. Centrifuge simulations pushed her body to its limits, subjecting her to extreme G-forces. Survival exercises tested her resilience in harsh environments. She was submerged in a swimming pool, simulating the weightlessness of space, and tasked with complex problem-solving. Throughout it all, Sunita refused to break. She drew on her Navy training, her ingrained discipline, and her unwavering focus. She saw other candidates crack, succumbing to the pressure. But she persisted, pushing through the pain, the exhaustion, and the self-doubt. Chapter 13, Becoming a Turd. The waiting was agonizing. Weeks turned into months. Sunita returned to her routine, trying to keep her mind occupied, but the astronaut application hung over her like a persistent cloud. Finally, another phone call. This time, the voice on the other end was calmer, more measured, but the words it spoke changed her life forever. "Sunita, congratulations. You have been selected as a member of NASA's next astronaut class." She was in. Training began almost immediately. Sunita and her cohort, a diverse group of individuals from various backgrounds, were affectionately, and sometimes not so affectionately, referred to as Turd Class, because they were so new and green. The workload was overwhelming, a constant barrage of information designed to transform them from skilled individuals into versatile spacefarers. Chapter 14, Down-to-Earth Training for Space. The training was a relentless mix of theoretical and practical exercises. They studied orbital mechanics, spacecraft systems, and the intricacies of the International Space Station. They learned Russian, the language of their cosmonaut counterparts. They spent countless hours in simulators, practicing docking maneuvers, contingency procedures, and emergency protocols. Survival training was particularly demanding. They were dropped in remote locations, forced to rely on their wits and their teamwork to survive in hostile environments, from the arid deserts of Nevada to the frigid waters of the Pacific. They learned to build shelters, find food and water, and navigate using the stars. Sunita excelled in the robotics training. She had a natural aptitude for mechanics, and she quickly mastered the complexities of the robotic arms used to manipulate objects in space. She spent hours practicing in the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, a giant pool that simulated the weightlessness of space, learning to repair and maintain equipment using cumbersome underwater tools. Chapter 15, Building a Home Away from Home. The most critical training revolved around the International Space Station, ISS. They learned every nook and cranny of the orbiting laboratory, mastering its complex life support systems, its scientific equipment, and its emergency procedures. They practiced spacewalks using pressurized suits to simulate the challenges of working outside the spacecraft. Sunita found the ISS training particularly fascinating. She learned about the experiments conducted on board, the research aimed at understanding the effects of space on the human body, and the technological advancements that were being made in orbit. She marveled at the international collaboration that made the ISS possible, a beacon of hope and progress in a world often divided. As the years passed, Sunita felt herself transforming. She was no longer just a test pilot or an engineer. She was becoming something more, an astronaut. She was part of something bigger than herself, a grand endeavor to explore the universe and push the boundaries of human knowledge. She was ready. The stars were waiting. Chapter 16, Countdown, the roar of a dream. The day was crisp and clear at Kennedy Space Center. Sunita strapped into her seat aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery, the familiar scent of machinery and recycled air, a strange comfort. After years of training, simulations, and unwavering dedication, the dream was about to become reality. The countdown echoed in her headset. T-minus 10 seconds. 9, 8. Her heart pounded a steady rhythm against her ribs, a mix of exhilaration and focused calm. She exchanged a smile with her fellow crew members, a silent acknowledgement of the shared journey that had brought them here. As the massive engines roared to life, shaking the shuttle violently, Sunita experienced a force unlike anything she had ever known. It was raw power, a controlled explosion propelling her, in her dreams, skyward. Chapter 17. Upside down and weightless, finding her feet in space. After the bone-rattling ascent, there was a sudden, almost surreal stillness. "We're in orbit," someone announced. Sunita unbuckled her harness and experienced the wonder of weightlessness. Floating freely inside the shuttle, she felt a childlike joy. But the euphoria soon collided with the practicalities of living in zero gravity. Eating was a challenge, requiring careful management of floating crumbs. Sleeping meant being strapped into a sleeping bag anchored to a wall. Simple tasks like brushing her teeth became complex choreography. The constant feeling of being slightly upside down was disorienting. Sunita spent the first few days learning to navigate the unique environment, adapting to the fluid movements and spatial awareness required in space. Her natural athleticism and years of training proved invaluable. She embraced the challenge, finding creative solutions to the everyday problems of life off-world. Chapter 18. Dancing in the Void, the Spacewalker's Ballet. One of Sunita's primary missions was to perform spacewalks, crucial for the maintenance and upgrade of the International Space Station, ISS. Stepping out of the airlock and into the inky blackness of space was an experience that defied description. Tethered to the space station, she floated against the backdrop of a breathtaking Earth. The silence was profound, broken only by the crackling of her radio. The work was demanding. Wearing bulky spacesuits, she used specialized tools to repair the ISS, braving extreme temperatures and the constant threat of micrometeoroids. Each movement was deliberate, each task meticulously planned. One particularly challenging spacewalk involved the installation of a new truss segment. A bolt proved stubbornly resistant, and Sunita wrestled with it for what felt like an eternity, her muscles burning. Finally, with a surge of adrenaline and focused effort, she managed to secure it. The feeling of accomplishment was immense, a testament to her perseverance and skill. These spacewalks weren't just about fixing things. They were a ballet in the void, a delicate dance between human ingenuity and the vastness of space. Chapter 19. The Scientist's Sanctuary, Experiments in Orbit. Life on the ISS wasn't just about maintenance and spacewalks. It also involved conducting scientific experiments. Sunita participated in a variety of research projects, from studying the effects of microgravity on the human body to growing plants in space. One of her favorite experiments involved observing the behavior of fluids in zero gravity. The way water formed perfect spheres, defying earthly constraints, was mesmerizing. She also diligently documented her own physiological changes, contributing to a better understanding of the long-term effects of space travel on astronauts. The ISS became a giant laboratory, a platform for pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and exploring the possibilities of life beyond Earth. Chapter 20. Thryve, a view from the heavens. Beyond the science and the tasks, there was the constant, awe-inspiring presence of Earth. Looking out of the ISS window, Sunita saw our planet in a way few ever could. She witnessed sunrises and sunsets every 90 minutes, each one a spectacle of vibrant colors painting the horizon. She watched storms brew over continents, saw the shimmering aurora borealis dance across the poles, and traced the outlines of familiar landscapes. The experience was profoundly moving, a visual reminder of the fragility and beauty of our home. It fostered a deep sense of connection to humanity and a renewed commitment to protecting our planet. The sheer scale of the universe, juxtaposed with the delicate blue marble of Earth, instilled in her a sense of perspective that would forever shape her view of the world. The emotional impact of seeing Earth from orbit was a powerful and enduring legacy of her first journey into space. Chapter 21, Fire and Water, the Re-Entry and Landing. The ride back to Earth was anything but smooth. After months of weightlessness, the crew of Expedition 15 braced themselves for the controlled chaos of re-entry. The Soyuz capsule, their fiery chariot, separated from the International Space Station, and the real work began. As the capsule plunged through the atmosphere, friction created a scorching inferno around it, visible through the small portholes as a blinding orange glow. The G-forces pressed heavily upon them, squeezing their bodies and blurring their vision. Sunita, accustomed to the lightness of space, fought to maintain consciousness, focusing on her breathing and trusting in the technology and training that had brought them this far. "Everything nominal," the Russian commander called out, his voice strained. The heat shield did its job, protecting them from the extreme temperatures. Then with a series of jolts, the parachutes deployed, slowing their descent. The G-forces lessened, and the fiery glow faded to the blue of the sky. Finally, with a bone-jarring thud, the Soyuz capsule landed on the Kazakh steppes. The impact, though cushioned by the specially designed seats, sent a wave of discomfort through Sunita's body. After months of floating, the sudden reintroduction to gravity felt shockingly intense. The recovery teams were quick to arrive, helping the disoriented astronauts out of the capsule. Sunita stumbled, her legs shaky and uncooperative. The familiar pull of Earth felt foreign and overwhelming. She leaned on one of the recovery personnel, taking deep breaths as her body struggled to recalibrate. The sky, the ground, everything seemed intensely vibrant and alive. She had returned. Chapter 22, Gravity's Grip, Readjusting to Earth. Readjusting to life on Earth after extended spaceflight was a slow and deliberate process. The initial days were filled with physical discomfort. Muscles that had barely been used in space protested with every movement. Bones, weakened by the lack of gravity, ached with the unfamiliar weight. Sunita spent countless hours in physical therapy, working to rebuild her strength and coordination. Simple tasks like walking and reaching for objects required conscious effort. She felt clumsy and awkward, a stark contrast to the grace and agility she had known in space. Beyond the physical challenges, there were also mental adjustments. The constant awareness of gravity, the limitations it imposed, took getting used to. The freedom of three-dimensional movement, the ability to float effortlessly, was gone. Yet amidst the discomfort and challenges, Sunita found a renewed appreciation for the simple things. The feel of the wind on her skin, the scent of fresh-cut grass, the sound of rain. All these sensations were amplified, imbued with a new richness and depth. She found herself noticing details she had previously overlooked, details that spoke of the beauty and fragility of life on Earth. The experience in space had fundamentally altered her perspective. The view of Earth from orbit, the realization of its interconnectedness and vulnerability, had instilled in her a profound sense of responsibility. She had seen the planet as a single fragile ecosystem, a pale blue dot suspended in the vast darkness of space. Chapter 23, A Star to Follow, Inspiring the Next Generation. Upon her return, Sunita became a highly sought-after speaker. She traveled the world, sharing her experiences and insights with audiences of all ages. She spoke passionately about the importance of STEM education, the thrill of exploration, and the power of human potential. She visited schools, universities, and science centers, inspiring students to pursue their dreams, no matter how audacious they might seem. She emphasized the importance of hard work, perseverance, and teamwork. She told them that anything was possible if they were willing to dedicate themselves to achieving their goals. Sunita became a role model for young women, demonstrating that they could break barriers and achieve success in traditionally male-dominated fields. She showed them that women could be astronauts, engineers, scientists, and leaders. She inspired them to dream big and to never be afraid to take risks. She also used her platform to advocate for space exploration and scientific research. She believed that exploring the universe was essential for human progress and survival. She argued that investing in science and technology would lead to new discoveries, new innovations, and a better future for all. Sunita's story resonated with people around the world. Her humility, her dedication, and her unwavering commitment to excellence made her a powerful and inspiring figure. She had not only traveled to space, but had brought back a message of hope, inspiration, and a renewed appreciation for the preciousness of life on Earth. Her legacy continued to grow, inspiring generations to reach for the stars, both literally and figuratively. She became, in essence, a star to follow. Chapter 24: The Weight of the World and the Station. The call came several months before the planned launch. Sunita was in training, immersed in simulations of emergency scenarios, when her phone rang. It was a senior NASA official. The words hung in the air after he spoke them. "Sunita, we're naming you Commander of Expedition 32/33. A wave of responsibility washed over her, heavier than any spacesuit. Commander. It meant more than just piloting the Soyuz or conducting spacewalks. It meant the well-being of a crew of 6, the smooth operation of a multi-billion-dollar international research facility, and the representation of humanity's presence in space. She thought of Peggy Whitson, the first female commander of the ISS, and the path she had paved. Respect and determination filled Sunita's resolve. She knew she wasn't just an astronaut, she was now the leader. Chapter 25: A Crucible of Cooperation. The International Space Station was a marvel of engineering, but also a testament to international cooperation. Sunita's crew was a microcosm of the world. Russian cosmonauts, a Japanese astronaut, and an American. Each brought their own expertise, cultural nuances, and perspectives. Training now took on a new dimension. It wasn't just about knowing procedures. It was about understanding how each crew member learned, communicated, and reacted under pressure. Sunita spent hours observing their interactions, identifying potential friction points, and fostering an environment of open communication. She organized informal gatherings where they shared stories about their families, their hobbies, and their anxieties. She learned snippets of Russian, Japanese, and even space-specific vernacular. Building trust was paramount. After all, in the unforgiving vacuum of space, their lives depended on each other. Chapter 26: Launch and Early Days in Command. The launch was a blur of adrenaline and precision. The roar of the Soyuz rocket, the bone-jarring vibrations, the gradual shift to weightlessness. It was exhilarating and terrifying all at once. As they docked with the ISS, Sunita felt a surge of pride. They had made it. The first few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. They had to adapt to the microgravity environment, reactivate life support systems, and familiarize themselves with the ongoing experiments. Sunita's days were filled with meetings, coordinating tasks, and monitoring the overall health of the station. She made it a point to connect with each crew member every day, even if only for a few minutes. She checked in on their progress, listened to their concerns, and offered encouragement. Small gestures, she realized, could make a huge difference in morale. Chapter 27: The Unforeseen Glitch. One day, an alarm blared through the station, jolting everyone into action. A critical cooling system, essential for regulating the temperature of the station's electronic equipment, had malfunctioned. Red lights flashed on control panels and the air crackled with tension. Sunita took charge, her voice calm and decisive. "Okay, everyone, let's take a breath. We've trained for this. Let's follow the procedure." She immediately assembled the crew, assigned roles, and began troubleshooting the problem. The manual was complex, filled with technical jargon. Each crew member contributed their expertise. One identified a potential short circuit, another located a redundant system, and a third began patching together a temporary fix. Hours crawled by as they worked tirelessly, their faces illuminated by the glow of the control panels. The air grew thick with sweat and the hum of machinery. Chapter 28: Teamwork Triumphs. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they identified the root cause of the problem: a faulty valve. Using spare parts and a combination of ingenuity and training, they managed to bypass the damaged component and restore the cooling system to functionality. The relief that washed over the crew was palpable. They had averted a potentially catastrophic situation through their combined knowledge, skill, and unwavering dedication. Sunita gathered her crew. "What we accomplished today was incredible," she said, her voice filled with pride. "We faced a real challenge, and we overcame it together. That's what this mission is all about. That night, as she gazed out at the earth shimmering below, Sunita knew that the true measure of a leader was not just their technical expertise or their ability to make decisions, but their ability to inspire and empower their team to achieve the impossible. The Expedition 32/33 banner wouldn't just be a symbol of their mission, but of the strength found in working together, no matter the challenge. The weight of command, she realized, wasn't just a burden, but an opportunity to lift others up. Chapter 29, Beyond the Stars, Continuing the Journey on Earth. Sunita's return to Earth never meant the end of her journey with NASA. Instead, it marked a transition into a new phase, one where her experiences could be leveraged to shape future missions and inspire the next generation of space explorers. She remained deeply involved with astronaut training, often returning to the simulators and training facilities at Johnson Space Center to mentor aspiring astronauts. She shared her insights on everything from adapting to microgravity to dealing with the psychological challenges of long-duration spaceflight. Her post-flight role also involved significant public outreach. Sunita understood the power of her story and the importance of engaging the public in space exploration. She traveled extensively, speaking at schools, universities, and conferences, captivating audiences with her tales from the cosmos. She was a natural storyteller, able to weave together the technical aspects of spaceflight with the emotional and personal experiences of living and working in orbit. Beyond public speaking, Sunita served on various advisory boards and committees within NASA, lending her expertise to the planning and development of future missions. She contributed to discussions on everything from hardware design to mission protocols, ensuring that the lessons learned from her time on the ISS were incorporated into future endeavors. She was particularly passionate about improving life support systems and optimizing the psychological well-being of astronauts during extended missions. She also consulted on research projects aimed at understanding the long-term effects of spaceflight on the human body, hoping to contribute to solutions that would mitigate these effects and make longer missions, such as those to Mars, safer and more feasible. Her own experiences became a valuable data point informing these crucial studies. Sunita found particular satisfaction in working with the next generation of flight controllers, engineers, and scientists. She emphasized the importance of teamwork, adaptability, and problem-solving skills, qualities that had proven crucial during her own missions. She mentored young professionals, providing guidance and encouragement as they navigated their own career paths within the space agency. The future of space exploration rests on the shoulders of these bright minds, she often said. It's our responsibility to prepare them and empower them to push the boundaries of what's possible. Chapter 30, Eyes on Mars, a vision for the future and a message of hope. While Sunita's own time in space might be behind her, her vision for the future of space exploration burned brighter than ever. She was a vocal advocate for ambitious goals, particularly the human exploration of Mars. Mars is the next logical step, she'd say, her eyes gleaming with excitement. It's challenging, yes, but challenges are what drive us forward. It's a chance to answer fundamental questions about life beyond Earth, to learn about our own planet's past, and to inspire a new generation with a grand, unifying goal. She understood the enormity of the challenges involved, the technological hurdles, the log,